Don't go in the woods.
What's in the woods?
Hi everyone, and welcome to day 13 of my 31 days of horror. And today we're going to go with something completely different. I think we've done the serious, we've done the macabre, we've done a bit of gore, and we've done a bit of a psychological theme when it comes to horror films so far. So today, day 13, we're going to do the movie Doghouse.
I'll be back on Monday.
And have the locks changed before then?
I'm going.
First weekend my parents visit in years, and you're just gonna go!
I'm not a bloody prostitute!
Sorry.
This is our second date.
What is your name again? You should have seen him in his glory days. We're going to bring you back from the brink.
No smoking.
Shut up.
So wasn't a weird little village like Moodley that you can't find in London?
What do you mean weird?
Just a dead end in the middle of the woods.
Please tell me you took a wrong turn.
I told you the place was a dead end.
We're going to find a pub. We're going to drink till we pass out. Women love me. Really? Don't go in the woods.
What's in the woods?
Everything you've ever been afraid of. There's something else. This just gets better and better, doesn't it? This is an army of pissed off, man-hating, feminists, cannibals.
I really like the one with the axe.
She's married.
What do we do now?
We do what everyone else does when they're facing their own mortality. Run.
We're not just dealing with a few insane women anymore.
In case you've forgotten, the reason we brought Vince out here was to try and convince him that all women are not out to get him.
Yeah, thanks for that, lads.
You're so sexy, Joe. Why don't we forget about all this finger food?
So the film revolves around a group of guys who, they've known each other for years, they're a good group of guys, and one of them has just suffered a divorce. He's going through a divorce and he's a bit down in the dump and a bit miserable. So what the other guys decide to do is say, look, pick yourself up, get yourself together, we'll take you out, we'll take you away for a day or two, a weekend away, a lad's day, you know, like a lad's weekend away, sex, drugs, beer, everything else you can think of, basically to cheer his friend up. Now, the place they go to is this little village in the outskirts of nowhere called Moodley. And in Moodley, one of the characters played by Noel, Clarke, his grandmother lives there. So she offers to put these lads up for a day or two. So they just think, well, okay, we'll go to this little village, we'll get absolutely rat-ass, we'll have some fun, cheer our mates up, and all will be well when we get back home. Now, unfortunately, when the guys get to Moodley, all's not what it seems. First of all, it's desolate, there's nobody around. So they just think they've like walked into the Twilight Zone kind of thing. And one of the characters, Neil, played by Dyer, he seems to be the leader of the pack, if you will. Now, if you've seen Dyer movies in the past, guys, you'll know what I mean when I say it's a typical Dyer role. In that he has to be the leader of the pack, he has to be the Charlie of them all, you know, the go-to guy. But in this film, he does it really well because he's quite humorous in it. He does play a great role in Doghouse. And this, for me, is perhaps one of Danny Dyer's better movies. Now, you either love or hate Danny Dyer. I don't think there's any like middle ground with him. Me, personally, I don't mind him. I think he's quite good at what he does, but that's just me. But in Doghouse, he does play his role of Neil really well. So anyway, so the group of guys get to Moodley, and like I said, everything seems a bit odd. There's nobody around, no men, women, no children. There's just no activity. The guys all go to this pub, this local pub, the Cock and Bull. Whilst the guys are in this pub, Mike, who played by Noel, Clarke, decides to go to his grandma's house. Now, if she's not in, he knows where the key's normally kept, so he can help himself into the house. So off he goes on his own. Now, whilst the guys are in this pub and Mike is away, we start to slowly see things unravel in the village. First of all, we see one of the guys in the cubicle in the toilets, Danny Dyer, he's in one of the toilets, and next door there's somebody else, and all we see is a boss from the legs. It's a female pair of legs wearing leggings. So you know straight away something's not quite right with this little village. Meanwhile, Mikey's gone through the garden fences, the garden paths, if you will, to get in the back way of his grandma's house. and everything seems disrupted. Things have been knocked over and it all seems a bit unkempt, if you will. And when it comes to bend down or to pick this normal to find this key, it's not there. But the camera then zooms away and pans away from him, and we see this hand that's like it's been bitten off and it's holding on to this, like a kid's swing, if you will. It's got hold of it. So straight away you know that things are going down. And what these things are yet, we don't know. But the good thing about Doghouse is it's humorous throughout. From the word go, it's humorous. From the opening credits, the opening scenes, we see each character being introduced to the film. Dyer is being thrown out, or he's walking out of this house. He's spent a one-night stand with this girl. Now, he doesn't know her name, he doesn't know anything, but it's funny the way it develops. We see Mikey coming out of his house, and he's glued his girlfriend's, or his wife's wedding ring, I should say, to her finger, so she can't take it off, because she threatens him, if you go through that gate, you'll never come back in the house. And it's just, it goes through all of them like that, all the characters, and there's always humorous parts to this. So it's funny from the word go. But the movie itself really kicks in, like I said, once Mikey goes to his grandma's house and she's not there, and we see this hand on the swing. And then things escalate quickly. The guys come out of this pub, and this woman appears, and then we see this soldier attacking her. He's knocking 10 bells of shite out of her. So they stop this soldier in his tracks, but then Neil, played by Dyer, he gets attacked by this woman. She puts a knife through his hand, and then when they take the hood off her, she's all disfigured and like zombified. That's the way I can put it. She's like a zombie. So the guys now start to realise that Moodley isn't what it should be. Where are all the men? Where are all the children? Where's the animals? There's no pets. It's just this crazy woman who's come out of this area, been attacked, and she's all deformed. And then all these other women start to appear from nowhere. You've got a dentist, you've got a lollipop lady, you've got a woman from like this, I don't know, it's like an occult shop, she's dressed as a witch. You've got a woman coming out of the pub. You've got all these different characters coming out, but they're all disfigured and disformed in some way, and they all start attacking these group of lads. Now, obviously, the group of lads start panicking and they start running, so they go to where Mikey's grandma lives. They end up going there, but obviously, they've no key, so Mikey's panicking, he's looking. Anyway, he does finally find it, and what it is, he has found it, but then put it in one of his pockets of his pants. But as he says in the film, he's wearing combat pants. He's got something like 11 or 12 different pockets. And I might not be making it sound funny, but you have to watch it to get the humour. So they all end up piling into this house, and these women, these crazy women, are outside. We see a hairdresser played by Emil Booth, and she's snipping away, but she's all disfigured and deformed. And then we see, like I said, the lollipop lady and all these other people. Anyway, they've gone into the house, and one of the characters who makes me laugh, he's trying to come to peace with the world. His wife's always nagging at him, and he always wears earphones with this tranquil music and these type of things that torture to relax you, like a calm type of app or something, a calming app. Anyway, so he comes out to this kitchen, says, "Oh, lads, tea's on, kettle's on, we'll have a brew." So while all this is happening, all he's bothered about is calming lads down and making them a cup of tea. And again, it's a British thing. Probably the Americans and other people watching this video won't get that type of humour, but it's a Brit thing, I think. When all else is kicking off, a cup of tea will calm everything down nicely. And that's the humour they put into this. But the funny thing is, one of the characters in the film who they're trying to cheer up, and that character is Vince, played by Stephen Graham. And he comes out, and the first thing he says to the lads,
"All right, you funny cunts. How's this supposed to cheer me up?"
And again, that moment, I'll try and find that scene, guys, and I'll put it down below just so you can see it. But it works well, does that one line, because like I said, all this is kicking off, and he comes out with such a comment like that. Right, so is this supposed to cheer me up? It works really well. But that's just at the beginning of the film. The film then escalates and escalates, where all the characters end up getting split up somehow. A few of them end up in this dress shop, this clothes shop. Some of them end up in a toy shop, and they're trying to get back together, but they're surrounded by all these crazed women. This soldier tells the story of an experiment that the army's working on, this device which can control women. Now, I have heard a lot of people say that this film is sexist big time, because it's all about crazed women and not crazed men. But I think you've got to look beyond the sexism behind it all. I don't think there's any sexism in this film at all. Basically, you've got to look at the lads and say what a set of daft bastards they are. How thick are they? How stupid are they? More than how sexist it is. Yeah, okay, the bad guys are females in this film, and there's a device that can turn the women into crazed killers. But that's like a sidestep. The biggest story is this group of lads who are just complete dickheads, and everything they do just goes tits up. You know, and that is where the humour comes from it all. Now, also, a lot of people have said that this film is basically a bit like Lesbian Vampire Killers, starring James Corden. But I fail to see that. Okay, the only similarities are, one, it's a British, well, or both, they're both British-made films, and two, it's about two lads, or a group of lads, who go to this strange town and all's not what it seems. In Lesbian Vampire Killers, the lesbian vampires. In Doghouse, the crazed zombies, if you will. That is it. That's as far as it goes. There's no other similarities to it. The story's completely different. The acting and the humour is completely different. But it's just a pity both films came out roughly the same time. And I think even the director and the writer both said that it was just a coincidence. Neither of them knew about each of those films coming out. But yet, Lesbian Vampires seemed to get more of the limelight than perhaps what Doghouse did, simply because James Corden was doing Gavin and Stacey at the time, and that was very popular here in the UK. So that probably got a bit more limelight, did Vampire Killers. Doghouse, unfortunately, suffered. However, Doghouse has since picked up a bit of a cult following, especially since it's been released on Blu-ray and DVD. And everybody seems to talk about it, you know, on a quite regular basis, because it has such a good, humorous storyline to it. So, with all that being said, the guys, you know, they found up split up, but they do regroup and they end up going to this church. But what happens is, there's a second phase to all this. The first phase is the initial virus outbreak, if you will. And then the second stage, this virus outbreak mutates and makes the women twice as powerful, twice as fast, twice as dangerous. So again, it's escalating all the time. And I keep saying it, but there's a lot of humorous scenes in it. There's a guy who's on this advertisement board. He's had his leg pretty much not cut off, but cut deeply with an axe by one of the crazed women. And he's up there with a golf bat, you know, like a golf stick, and he's hitting these golf balls to all these zombified women, trying to put them off. And it's just little stupid things like that which make this film funny. There's a lot of one-liners in this film. Like I said, when they're in the grandma's house and they're all saying, you know, what's going on? What could have caused all this?
Oh, what kind of virus only affects women?
Bird flu.
And Danny Dyer turns around and says, oh, it's probably bird flu. As in bird, as in female. Yeah, okay, guys, I know. It's a sad joke, I know. But it works, again, for this film. I think if you're British, you'll understand the humour in it. If, however, you're from other parts of the world, you probably look at the humour and think, I don't get it, I don't understand it. It's not funny. It's a typical British boring horror film. It's not. It's a very funny film, this Doghouse, and that's why I've chosen it today as day 13, because I wanted something different to talk to you guys about. All the guys in this film play the characters really well. They're all thick as pig shit, they're all dickheads, but that is how they've been written. Ignore all the sexist tripe that you've read on the internet about Doghouse. Whoever writes these reviews about it being sexist, I think they're missing the story, and I think they're missing the ultimate point. And the ultimate point is that this group of guys, no matter how macho and how tough they may want to think they are, they're not. They're like little boys. They're like scared little boys, if you will. All hell's kicking off and they just panic. They go into meltdown. And that is what the film is about. It's a funny, funny film, guys. Doghouse is my day 13 on the 31 days of horror. If you've seen Doghouse, guys, comment down below, tell me what you thought. If you've not seen Doghouse, again, I keep saying it, but go out and find it. Go out and hire it, rent it. But please, go out and let me know. When you've seen it, come back and let me know what you thought. As always, guys, this is for BLEAKHOLT Animal Sanctuary. I'm trying to raise a few quid for them. At the moment, donations are extremely slow. So please, guys, if you've got this far into this review, put your hands in your pockets, click on the link and give a few quid to BLEAKHOLT Animal Sanctuary. All the links are down there for you guys, so you know exactly what BLEAKHOLT Animal Sanctuary are and what they do and what they need the money for. But thanks a lot again, guys, for watching this short review. Again, I've not gone too deep with it, but I hope you like it. In the meantime, guys, as I always say, take care and look after yourselves.